All right, hope this works. Today I'm going to cover how to make the song I Love You by Phoenix 2772. So what we're going to do is start with this song, You're My Girl. I'm sorry, I forgot who the artist is. Let me look that up real quick. Change. Alrighty, there it is. So Change made this song You're My Girl, and we're going to use that as a sample. And let's see what we got here. So the sample will start at, if you want to look at the time for anything, it is right here. We're at 1 minute and 6 or 7 seconds. And here's the sample. Don't want no one else. And please remember one thing. I love you. Nobody else can move me like you do. Alrighty, so that is the entirety of the sample. So you may have noticed we normally start with this I love you. And then we go back to the You're My Girl. Don't want no one else. So yeah, we're going to swap those around. And we're also going to slow it down. We had it at 83 beats per minute. And we're going to slow it down to 72 beats per minute. And we're also going to pitch it down 6 half steps or semitones. And whenever we do all that, plus we add the effects, which I will explain here in a minute, we get a sound like this. So that's what it sounds like with the effects. So I'll explain how to chop up these samples and then we'll go over the effects here soon. So first we're going to start with the, I think it's the Please Remember Me. Please remember one thing. Yeah. Let me go back and see where that was in the song. Don't want no one else. So it's at 1 minute and 13 seconds. Please remember one thing. So we're going to start with that. And then the next line is the I love you. Yep. And so let's line those up first. Please remember one thing. So yeah, here's the next sample. That Nobody Else. Let's see where that was. Kind of going back and forth here, but hopefully this helps explain how to make it. There it is. It is 1 minute and 21 seconds. So yeah, going back to and then it goes immediately to that You're My Girl. And then all of that loops over again. And whenever we loop it over, we're going to overlap this I Love You part of the song. And then you're the... okay, so we're going to overlap the You're My Girl part into the I Love You part. And then once we do that, we're going to add a crossfade So that fades out this sample on the left and fades in the sample on the right so that there's a smooth transition. So that is the construction of the song. Next we'll go to the effects. Pretty complicated effects chain here, which I will explain. So the first thing that we're going to add is delay. So we've got a quarter note triplet delay, and the feedback is at 30% and the mix is at 33%. What I also did is I opened up the EQ on the delay as well, so that we could hear more of the low end in the delay and then also a little bit more of the high end. The stock settings here in Studio One are a little bit more mid-rangey, but I've opened it up a little bit. And then also I've added some ping pong delay as well. This recording is a mono, so you won't be able to hear it, unfortunately. But if you do it in your studio, then you will. So just 2-channel width at 50% just kind of opens up the stereo space of it a little bit. And let's hear this isolated by itself. So yeah, there it is by itself. The next is room reverb. Got a pretty big reverb. I got the arena preset. Turned down the mix a little bit from there, but here's what it sounds like by itself. So yeah, pretty long reverb tail on it there. Next thing that we have is a lot of EQ actually. So we're going to roll off the low end a little bit, otherwise we get kind of a muddy sound. Versus just takes out some of that low end mud there. It might be a little bit hard to hear on some playback systems, like especially a phone. But if you listen to it with good speakers, then you might be able to hear it a little bit. We're also going to boost the low end here. This is at 200 hertz, basically. And that's going to fatten up the bass guitar and the snare a little bit. So I'll turn it on and off, and then you can hear the difference. So that's the difference that that's making. We're also got a little bit of mid-range boost as well. Let's go back around. So it kind of fattens up the vocals a little bit. And then the last is a high cut or a low pass filter. Just takes off some of that high end. Sounds more like an AM radio whenever you got this on. And that's at 3 kilohertz, basically. So that's what that sounds like. If you take it all together on and off, there's on, there's off, there's it back on. So you can hear a pretty big difference there. So next thing is distortion. I've got a little bit of like moderate distortion. I got the soft tube. Yeah, just use like a tube distortion and then turn on just like a quarter of the way or something like that. And I'll toggle it on and off and you can hear what it sounds like. So kind of subtle by itself, but in the context of the next two effects, it'll make a big difference. So the next effect I've got is a multi-band compressor. So I don't use this very often, but it is handy sometimes. It's if you want to both compress and boost a certain frequency band. Like if you really just want to boost the crap out of the lows, this would be a good tool to use, especially on like a kick drum or something like that. So here's what it's going to sound like off and then on. So you can hear a pretty big difference on the low end if you got some speakers that can replicate it. And I've turned down the threshold pretty low and then the ratio pretty high, so that's compressing it very hard. And so to make up the difference from that, the output gain is up to 10.5 dB, which is pretty strong. And I'll do it again off and on. And then you can watch the compression there. So it's a good way if you want to compress some audio, and especially with the next compressor that we'll have, just get a really strong low end sound without affecting the rest of the audio, and also without using an EQ. Just a small tip here: whenever you boost with an EQ, or I think anytime you use an EQ, you introduce a little bit of phasing. In audio technical terms, that means you've got the original signal and then you're shifting the time of the other signal just a little bit so that it creates a certain audio effect, and that's how an EQ works. But with a multi-band compressor, you're not doing that phase shift, and so you can really boost the crap out of the lows without affecting the rest of the audio. Last, we're just going to use a regular compressor and combine with the multi-band. I'll play them together. So pretty strong compression sound. I'll turn them both on and off. So yeah, you can hear a big difference there. So lastly, let's put them all together and see what we got. Compared with the Phoenix 2772 version. And then here's my version. So pretty close. I was really happy with how this turned out. So I hope that helps deconstruct this song. If you want to make it on your own, now you have the ability to do so. So thanks for watching. Have a good night.